Then we talked about fimbriae and sex spilae and other, small appendages. And then we talked about a special type of spilae called type 4, and because this helps in twitching motility. So this is where you can see the bacteria. It's moving, but it's not moving that fast. Right? I mean, it can move a little bit. Okay. But then today we'll see a structure called flagellum, and you can see the difference in motility when the bacteria is using the flagellum. Right? They're really fast. So if the bacteria, for whatever reason, do not have flagellum, there are many other ways to move. So one of them is the type 4 spilae. Okay. So usually you can see the flagella arranged in different ways. So three of the typical ones are, this is where you can see flagella all around the body. So this is called peritrichus. Okay. And sometimes you see probably one or a number of flagella at one tip. So if there's only one at one of the poles, so it is called a polar. Or in some bacteria you can see a number of flagella on one pole, then it's called lophotrechus. So this is just again an old way of classifying bacteria based on morphology. And because the only importance of this is that because how the flagella is placed, it's going to affect how it moves. Other than that, like in real life, we really do not have any much impact on the bacteria's life. So whatever evolutionary reasons, there are many ways in which you can have the flagella. But whether you have the flagella this way or this way, pretty much you can use whatever it is used for. Okay? Which is to move, either to move to a favorable location or to move away from a location that has something with some kind of toxin or something. Okay? So flagella itself, it's a highly complex molecule or structure, and this is a closed ill view of it. So this is the outside, so this is the bacterial cell wall and cell membrane, and this is the outside of the bacteria. And then when you see a bacteria like what we are showing here, is starting from here to up. Okay, so this can go on till however long the flagella is. But then you can see outside of the flagella and what is embedded in the bacterial body itself is very different. Right? So what you see is called the filament. And the filament is made up of one type of protein called flagellin. Okay? And what connects the filament to this basal body, this is called. This is kind of where all the action is happening, so that the bacteria can use the flagella to move. Okay? So what connects the filament to this basal body is this part called hook. So it's not straight, it's kind of bent. It looks like a hook. Okay? So there is a filament, there is a hook, and then there is this basal body here. What you see on these two sides are the outer membrane, peptidoglycan, and the cell membrane. Okay? So we talked about the different layers. So this is a gram-negative bacteria or a gram-positive bacteria, from what we know from last class. Yeah, gram-negative, right? That's because there is an outer membrane and then a thin peptidoglycan, and then you can see the cell membrane, and what's inside here is the cytoplasm. Okay? So there are 4 rings that attaches the flagella to different layers of the cell. There's something called L ring, and it's attached to the outer membrane, and from the name L you can figure out it's because it's associated with LPS on the outer membrane. Okay? So the L ring associated with the LPS or outer membrane. So the P ring is associated with what? Yeah, peptidoglycan, right? So then there are two more rings. One is MS ring and the C ring. So C ring is associated with the cytoplasm, and MS ring is associated with the cell membrane. Okay? So even though your book gives this, and this is what you need to know, you can actually go and look in different textbooks or like research articles about the flagella itself. You might see slight variations of this. Okay? So it could be because different bacteria, it might be slightly different, or as you know, as we learn more and more about the molecular details, it is not as simple as this. It might move a little bit. Okay? But for this class purpose, as long as you know these four rings and what different layers of the cell wall and cell membrane is associated with, that's all we need to know. Okay? So four rings that is keeping the flagella in place, and then this is connected to the filament, which is what is moving or propelling the bacteria through a hook. Okay? You guys understood this, right? Pretty simple. So now if you want the bacteria to move, there has to be a way, there has to be some kind of energy coming in, and there has to be a way in which this whole thing has to move, right? So that is where these more proteins and the split proteins come into play. Okay? So each of this flagellar basal body is covered by these proteins called MOD. And how it acts, or this is the one that's going to give the energy needed to turn the whole thing. Okay? So it works like a regular, like a motor that you might see in any kind of electrical equipment that you might use. So the MOD protein, it acts as a stator. So in a regular motor, this is how it works. And I don't know anything about mechanical motors, so I'm assuming you guys know more about this than me. So the basic two parts is a rotor, which is the one that's going to turn, and it is covered. So this part is going to go inside here, which is the stator, and stator is the one which is going to give the electromagnetic field which is needed for the rotor to turn. Okay? So this is how a regular motor that you might see anywhere usually works. So the flagella works the same way. So there is a stator, which is all the MOD proteins that are seen around here. So here, in the cross section, there's going to be MOD proteins like in front here also. Okay? So the basal body is covered by MOD proteins. And it's going to pump the protons from outside of the cell wall to the inside. And this gives the energy for the flagella itself to turn. Okay? So the MOD proteins, which is like a stator, will give the energy needed for the flagella to turn. And it's estimated that for each rotation of the flagella, the bacteria need to pump like 1,000 protons from outside to inside. Okay? Please understand this? So it's a very simple process, and the split protein is the switch. So this is the one that decides, based on internal and external conditions, that okay, now we need to use the flagella, so that it will induce the MOD proteins to start pumping the protons to make or start moving, like, or rotating the flagella. Okay? So this is the switch, and this is the stator that's giving the energy by pumping protons, and then the flagella itself, the whole thing is going to rotate. Okay? And using that, the bacteria can move, depending on where it wants to move. Any questions? So we know that there is a difference in the cell membrane, cell wall of gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, right? So this is what we just saw. So this is in gram-negative bacteria. It's called the cell membrane, and then thin peptidoglycan, and then outer membrane, right? So it's got the 4 rings. Whereas gram-positive bacteria, they also, or at least some of them, also have flagella, and because, so they don't have an outer membrane, right? They have only the last 2 rings in their flagella, okay? So they don't have all these 4 rings, because they don't have this outer ring at all, right? They're not the outer membrane. So they have these 2 rings, and then the flagella works pretty much the same way. So it is modified a little bit, because the cell wall structure is different. Otherwise, for all purposes, it works the same way. No, it's here. Yeah. Here. No, the MOT proteins are in, it's a cell membrane protein. There's nothing here, as far as I know. I'm pretty sure this is a very simplified way of showing things. It's much more complex than this. Yeah?
Does it only rotate the MOT protein, does it only rotate the rings one direction or both directions?
Good question. We'll come to that very soon. So, we saw that the MOT proteins can rotate the flagella, right? So depending on that, and depending on how the flagella is arranged, bacteria can move in slightly different ways. So if it is a peritrachous flagellated cell, which is an example is E. coli. So there's a lot, there's like 8 to 10 flagella, and it's all over the body. And when it moves, all the flagella will turn towards the end, and it can all rotate in counterclockwise rotation, and then it can move forward. Okay, so that is why the hook is important, because it will turn the flagella away from the cell at almost like a 90 degrees, so that the bacteria can use this. So it's almost like a propeller of a boat, right? Because if your flagella is rotating, so it will give you the force to move forward. And if you are a peritrachous flagellated bacteria, all your flagella will be in the same direction, and then the bacteria can move. Okay? But the thing with this is that it's not like a boat which is just going like in the direction you want. After some time, there's something called it just tumble. So it will go for some time, and then something happens, and everything just becomes slow. It will become like randomly, and then again it can move to another direction. So I'll show you the video that I showed first. You can see it clearly. You can see the bacteria moving, and then after like a second or so, it will just tumble for a second, and then it will decide to go whichever direction it wants to go. Okay? And so whether if it is a peritrachous, it is that way. So all the flagella will turn only one direction. Whereas in polar flagellated bacteria, some of them can rotate the flagella in both directions. So if it wants to go forward in one direction, then it rotates it in counterclockwise, let's say. And then if you want to reverse it, so it can actually go back. So then it rotate it the other way. Okay? And then some bacteria, even though they have polar, they cannot do this rotation, rotating in the reverse orientation. So then it will do pretty much the same thing as here. So it will go some